First, I want to talk about wolves. The significant issue there is that there are many types of wolves. Okay? The Anthromi are just one of a number. There are also Lycan, Lethari. Yes, we're going to talk about Blood Knights. So yes, definitely. Lycan, Lethari, Wolfen, and werewolves. Just off the cuff, okay? And they are not the same. Okay? Yes, they all look the same. When you look at any of the wolves, they're always going to look the same as any other wolf. Colors will be different, depending on personal preferences. Personal preferences are always going to be different. Okay? It's like no two humans look the same. That's the same way it's going to be with the wolves. But that's a personal preference. All right? And that's really about looks. Okay? Beyond that, there is a significant difference between them. Example, Lycan are wolves that were born that way. They were born as a person, as a human, that can shift into a wolf. Lethari are born as elves that can switch into a wolf. Okay? Wolfen are wolves that shift into a human. Okay? Now you may think, okay, that's insignificant, but there is a level of difference. Okay? None of those can you become. No one can bite you and you become a Lycan. You cannot be bitten and become a Wolfen. You were born those ways. Okay? A Lethari. Okay? Werewolves, on the other hand, you can be bitten and become a wolf. Okay? And in the case of werewolves, if you die, you're still a werewolf because there are undead that are werewolves. Okay? It does not stop you. It's just like vampires. A lot of times, vampire, you'll be bitten by a vampire and you won't become one until you die and come back and wake up next day or whatever as an undead. Werewolves are similar in that fashion. However, as a werewolf, you are still one when you're alive. But if you die, you wake up and you are a full-time werewolf. Whereas when you're still alive, you'll become a werewolf every full moon. Okay? But if you die and you come back as a werewolf, you're a werewolf all the time. And then periodic changes. Obviously, there's a great deal of rage under those circumstances. But it is the case. All wolves are subject to silver. Werewolves most of all, but all wolves are subject to silver. Just like Fae are subject to iron. And the unseelie are particularly subject to iron. But all Fae are subject to iron. Wolves are all subject to silver. Werewolves in particular Okay? Silver will burn them. A werewolf, silver will burn them visibly. You'll see the smoke rising up from their hand if they're holding on to a piece of silver. Okay? Linway is Lethari. Okay? And Lethari are also subject to silver. All wolves are subject to silver. But they are less subject than werewolves. Okay? Werewolves are very subject to silver. Okay? But non-werewolves, wolves that are not werewolves, it may not be visible. You may not see smoke rising up because they touch silver. Okay. That's a go ahead. TP people in. But for the case of Magister Apprentice Aval, I think he's requesting that you turn around and face the wall when you teleport them so that they land in the bleachers rather than in the center court. Yeah. Now all wolves are subject to silver, but only werewolves are really heavily subject. Okay? It is going to hurt them. Werewolves, on the other hand, there's going to be smoke rising. It's going to hurt them that much. No, regular wolves, ones that don't shapeshift, that's not the same thing. Okay? Regular wolves that are not shapeshifters are not. They're just susceptible to silver as they are any other thing, It doesn't cause them any extra discomfort, no. My apologies. When I'm talking about wolves, I'm talking about with a capital W. Regular wolves, such as the two that are on my pedestal here, podium, they are the small W. Capital W are shape-shifting wolves, and that's what I really am referring to. Okay? Yes, that's exactly correct. If they're magical beings, they are subject to silver. That is correct. Perfectly. Just like Fae are all subject to iron, regardless. Okay? Just Unseelie happen to be extremely subject to iron. Fae are going to have an aversion to such. They're not going to use iron weapons. They're going, because they hurt. All right? But Unseelie are actually going to smoke. All right? All right. So does all of that make sense? Is any questions thus far? I know there was a young lady, I don't know if she's even going to make it here today or if she's here, I don't know, who had a lot of wolf questions. All right, she had a whole page of wolf questions that she wanted to ask me. I don't know if she sent me the note card. Because unfortunately, I get a lot of note cards. My apologies. Okay. Yeah, she's only asked, there's only one question I see here, and that is there a difference between Lycans and werewolves? Yes, there is. Okay. Significant difference. Lycan are born wolves. Werewolves are made. Okay. Now, here's the thing. If, can you become a Lycan from a werewolf? Well, your children can. Okay? Let's say a pair of werewolves mate. They would not have another werewolf. They'll have a Lycan. Okay? Because lycanthropy is a disease. Okay? If you're born a wolf, you're born a Lycan. Okay. Dragons, they're shifters, okay? And they are very, very, very magical. And they do have weaknesses, okay? But they're not subject toward silver or iron. But they have no metal that they are weak to. All right. Okay. Any questions about anything I've said thus far? Okay. All right. The next most important. Okay, well, thank you. Actually, lycanthropy is what makes werewolves, not the same. Lycanthropy is not what makes Lycan or Enthromai or Wolfen or Lytheri. Lycanthropy doesn't make the others. Lycanthropy is what makes a werewolf. Not lycanthropy as in the scientific form that people have in real life. There is such a thing as lycanthropy. But magical lycanthropy does make werewolves. Okay? Does that make sense? Different, well, admittedly, different lore have different versions of it. Okay? And I'm not going to nitpick all the different lores. Okay? Because there are curses, there are diseases, there are viruses, there are all kinds of different ways, but they're all lycanthropy. Okay? Lycanthropy itself means being able to transfer werewolfism from one person to another, regardless of its format, whether it's, saliva or blood or magical curse, whatever the reason is. Okay? Does that make sense? And not sure what a flow chart would do. But, hey, whatever. But is it possible? Well, yeah, it's possible that two werewolves could have a werewolf, but it's more than likely. But it is possible for for a Lycan to be a result, because Lycan means you're born as a wolf. Okay, it's a race. It's not something that you contract. Just like Enthromai, just like the Wolfen, just like Lytheri. It's not something that you contract. You are that or you're not. Just like Blood Knights, and we're about to go into that. Yes, you can reverse lycanthropy. You can't reverse the other. So you can reverse a werewolf, okay? But you cannot reverse a Lycan. All right? You cannot reverse a Wolfen. You cannot reverse an Enthromai because there's nothing to reverse. That is their race. Okay? But you can reverse a werewolf because it is something they contracted. Okay. I don't know about any purple orbs. I don't see it. Does all that make sense? Other people see a purple orb too? Interesting. Oh, I see it now. It's on the right-hand side. No? That's a trick of the light. I see several of them. I don't know where they're coming from. Interesting. It's, yeah, bubbles, wherever they're coming from. Yeah, some particle emitter. We'll look for it in a minute. We'll look for it in a minute. Okay. Now, if they are part of the decor, I mean, it's new, but I like it. I just don't need it in front of my face while I'm talking. But I do like it. All right. So, any other questions about wolves? Are we cool? Are there... Okay, go ahead. Ask. Yes, Magister Eval. Magister Apprentice Eval, my apologies. Oh, okay, good. The general enhancements to their abilities depends on what you refer to, but in general, that is in their other forms, okay? But their sense of smell goes across the board, okay? As far as strength goes, they're slightly stronger than they appear to be in their human form, but they don't have any form of enhanced strength, really enhanced strength, and unless they're in their half form, okay? Think of it, yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it. So I think that they may be slightly stronger than they appear to be in their standard form, but it's not accented until they shift over. Right. Exactly like that. Exactly like that. It's more potent. It's slightly better than than a human or whatever in their humanoid form. But it's not really considered to be enhanced unless they switch over. Okay? But yeah, their sense of smell, that doesn't change. They can track in whatever form they're at, you know? So if you're 200 meters away from a wolf, hope you wore deodorant. All right. Any other questions? You mean in wolf form? Is that what you were referring to? So can Lethari. Oh, you mean half form? You mean the hybrid form? Is that to what you refer? Yes. Yes or no? Are you talking about their hybrid form or their wolf form? Okay, wolf form. All right. Bipedal. Okay. Lycan also, because they are born that way, just like Wolfen and Lithari, they can speak in that form. In general, that is not the case. But those that are born that way, those three can do so. Wolfen, Lycan, and Lithari can speak in the half form. All right. Yeah, because that's the best way to put it. Okay. All right. Well, go ahead. Yes, spellfire related. Okay. The Rage HUD is being rebuilt. Okay. When it is rebuilt, it will be allowed to warriors and wolves. Yeah, it's vocal cords. All right. For those of you that know this, there's a bone in the back of your neck. Okay, that allows you that moves at a in a certain direction and a certain rate and a certain shape that allows you to speak in the regular in in the format that we know. Okay, and those three have that. Okay, have that bone. Okay, but the others, that bone shifts out of place when they're in that form, so they don't actually get to speak the regular vocalizations. Okay, those three wolves have that bone in the proper place. The other wolves have that bone, but they're not in the proper place. They are shifted, and if you shift that bone, it makes it so that you can't speak in the standard format. Okay, this is one of the reasons why we know that uh, that there were several varieties of ancient man that could speak that and others that couldn't. Okay? Because the bone existed in the proper place. So hey, we know that that individual, that group of people, they could speak just like everyone else. Okay, just like we do today. All right? And those that didn't have that bone or that bone was not in place, then that means they couldn't talk. Okay? One of the differences that separates the vast majority of humans from apes and monkeys is that bone. Okay? Well, just because you have a snout doesn't mean that you can't talk. All right, it's the bone. Because look at dragons. Dragons' faces are not the same as humans. They can still talk just regularly. Okay? So it's not the shape of the face. All right? Whether you have a snout or whether or not you have tentacles like a illithid. Okay? Shape of the face, yeah, that's significant. You may sound different, you know, like an illithid's going to be all grubbly, but hey, they can still talk, right? All right. but the bone, and there you go. Does that make sense? Okay. Any other questions about wolves? If some come in, if you think of any as as we're moving along, that's totally fine. Now, pronunciation, that's totally different. You're right. That is all about, just like I said, if you're an illithid, they're not going to pronounce the same as everyone else. Everything that they say is going to sound all garbling. Yeah, Zoidberg. Who says somebody said something about Zoidberg? Yeah, he talks like an illithid would. Okay. Yeah, Magister Apprentice of Vale. That's correct. Zoidberg is a good example. He's a lot cooler than any of them. But the vocal inflection is accurate. All right. So if more wolf questions come up, that's perfectly fine. You can ask them as you wish. All right. I want to touch next upon the Blood Knights. First off, yes, the Blood Knights are a secret organization. Okay, very secret, but that doesn't mean that they're not well known. Okay, that's Iceli. Okay, yes, exactly. Doesn't mean they're not well known. Someone brought up, I think it was Master Apprentice Diavolo, that the Blood Knights have a similarity to the Dark Brotherhood from Skyrim in the fact that everybody knows about them, but they're still 100% secret, and that's accurate. All right, so I want everybody to realize that. Okay, the Blood Knights are the Dark Brotherhood. All right, if you can imagine rolling, the other day I rolled them all together, and I want to throw this out there. All right, if you can imagine putting the Faceless from the Game of Thrones and the Dark Brotherhood from Skyrim, the Driders from the 4th edition of D&D, and the Assassins from Assassin's Creed, you put them all together, and you have the Blood Knights. Okay? They're essentially a holy order of assassins. Okay? And they and yes, the Drider part, they can change into Driders. That is because the Blood Knights, their origin is many moons ago, approximately 300,000 years ago, before there were angels and demons and devils and dragons roaming around. Dragons were in charge of Terra at that point. There was nobody else here. But in another place, under About 300,000 years ago, the Illithid and the Metallici tried to overtake Terra. All right. Now the dragons, by that time, they were, they're bored. All right. Other races are coming into being. Okay. And so dragons are doing a lot of sleeping. They do anyway. And other races are coming into being. Elves are now relatively prolific at this point. Illithid come in and they want this place. They're like, they have had a taste. 100,000 years ago, they were given a taste. All right. So about 300,000 years ago, they decided they want to take over this plane. Okay. And because they have an aversion to light, they started in what used to be called the Underdark until the Illithids, but what we shall call the Underdark for the time being. And they tried to take over, all right, for the second time. And when they did that, the beings that stopped them were the Dak Alfar. Now the Dak Alfar were almost wiped out. By the end of the Third War, there was only 10% of the race left. Because the Illithid were persistent. They kept coming back. Now, the warriors, the first line of offense and the last line of defense were the Blood Knights. Now, the Blood Knights were all Driders at that time. Okay? If you achieved a certain level of excellence, you were allowed to become a Drider. And if you were dedicated to the race, to the cities, to making certain that Dak Alfar continued, and you were proven to be awesome, you were allowed to be a Drider. And almost all the Driders were wiped out during the Spider Squid Wars. And as a memory, as a memoir, as a reward, I'm not sure the proper word, it's not coming to me, as a memorial, perhaps, homage, perfect, thank you, as an homage to the original Blood Knights that died defending the Dak Alfar, the magician brought up the Blood Knights. And so every Blood Knight has the ability to change into a Drider. Whether or not you are Dak Alfar, whether they might be Alfar, they might be Dwarf, they might be Dragon, okay? They could be human even, or Fae. They can change into a Drider. Yes, there is a Dwarf. One of the Blood Knights is a Dwarf. And they can change into a Drider. And Driders are no laughing matter. They were, any of you out there that have fought the Metallici know how tough those Metallici are. And Driders were designed, you know, they were Billy bad enough to fight those Metallici. Okay? The Mets are no laughing matter. Okay, now, so that is a relatively general term. I threw a bunch of stuff out there to help you think, to help you realize who the Blood Knights are and what they do. They also, in particular, they are the offensive and information gathering branch. And yes, they directly do work for the magician, but whereas the conclave is defense and administration, the Blood Knights are offense and information gathering. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. They are the hand. Yes. Yep. They are the secret police, yes, but not in the same form as Russia. They are the same. They are the secret police, like, you know, like I said, the cross between Assassin's Creed Assassins, the Dark Brotherhood from Skyrim, and the Faceless from Game of Thrones. Okay, yes, Jill Rose. Okay. Yes, like that's correct. No, their disguises cannot be seen through. If you know a Blood Knight, it's because they want you to. Okay? If you know a Blood Knight is a Blood Knight, it's because they want you to. All right? And if you're a telepath, okay, there is a way to ostensibly determine whether, I mean, they're always a Blood Knight, no matter what, if they're in armor or not. They're always a Blood Knight. Okay? A Blood Knight is a Blood Knight no matter how they look. They're always a Blood Knight. It's kind of like Lycan. Lycan are always Lycan. Humans are always humans. A Blood Knight is always a Blood Knight. Doesn't matter what your racial makeup is, you're a Blood Knight. That is essentially your race. That's how integral it is. That's how much a part of you it is. Okay? You don't just wake up and decide, oh, I don't want to be a Blood Knight anymore. It doesn't happen that way. You're a Blood Knight. Just like you don't wake up and say, I don't think I'm going to be human anymore. You don't do that. Does any of you wake up in the morning and say, it's today I'm not going to be human? No, I don't think so. Unless you log into here or log into some other game, you know, whatever it happens to be. And then you can change that. But, you know, as long as you're walking around in that big, huge thing called RL, you can't change that. Now, yes, there are several Blood Knights. There are a lot of Blood Knights, but only a few of them that are known to be Blood Knights. And that's correct. The Iceli ones known. Actually add Jaded to that list. Jaded is also known to be a Blood Knight because she is a lieutenant. Okay. Other Blood Knights are not known to be that. That doesn't mean there are not other Blood Knights, because there are. Okay? No one can detect disguised Blood Knights. They do show up. Okay, now here's one thing. Now for the Illithid, Blood Knights show up as a blank space. Okay? So an Illithid can identify a Blood Knight because they show up as a blank space on their map. Illithids have their brains and their abilities work in such a way as that all people, everybody around them is like this map, this mental map that tells them, this X person is 2 miles away, X person is 200 feet away, X person is, half a mile away. That's how their brains map in the same way that you map the world with your eyes. Illithids map worlds with their brains, and that brain connects to all the other brains around them. That's why they can mind control. Okay? But Conclave members and Blood Knights show up as blank spaces. No, a Fae cannot detect a Blood Knight. It's not possible. A Blood Knight is whatever whatever they are. Like if you're a Fae and you're talking to a dragon who happens to be a Blood Knight, it's a dragon to you. All right, you're not going to know that it's a Blood Knight. They're just a dragon. All right, unless that dragon Blood Knight wants you to know. That's different. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. But the Blood Knights are an offensive force that are protecting the plane of order from the plane of chaos. They're assassins that eliminate threats to the plane of law. What would one see if they look at an outfitted Blood Knight with arcane sight type? You would see their outfit. If they're wearing, that's exactly what you would see. You're not going to see what's in beneath it. You're going to see that outfit. Okay? And if you look at one of them that are not outfitted, that's what you're going to see. All right. Let's say, for sake of argument, Jalil Paderborn over there is a Blood Knight. Now, we all know she's Conclave. Okay. But I'm just going to use her as an example. And you touch her with True Sight to see, and she's going to look the same with True Sight as she is otherwise. All right? Because that is her true form. All right? And that is what you're going to see with a Blood Knight. That is their true form. Okay? If you look at a demon with True Sight, you're not going to see, like, Urinal. Are you a demon or a devil? I'm not sure right now. It doesn't really matter because they both have the same abilities. Okay. If you use True Sight and you look at Urinal over there. Now, you're, okay. That's why I use last names. That's why one of the many reasons I use last names. But anyway, if you look at her, you're going to see her true form if you use True Sight. All right. If you look at a Blood Knight, their true form is the Blood Knight. All right. Does that make sense? But that, all right. But that changes to depending on what they're wearing. You know, whatever they're wearing is what's going to show up on your true sight. It's not like you're going to look at them and see the Blood Knight inside of them, because the Blood Knight is always there. All right. So you look at Elvery. However she's looking now is exactly what she's going to look like when you hit her with true sight. It's not going to show the red and black armor that I'm wearing right now. That's not what you're going to see when you look at her. When you look at her, you're going to see what she's wearing. That's because that is her true form. No, they do have if they're wearing armor, if they're wearing their armor and you use the true sight to see the magical qualities from it, they are going to glow. Yes. Yes, you see the disguise if you look at them. Yes, their armor is going to glow because they are wearing the ancient Blood Knight armor. That the armor that I'm wearing right here, that you see that Blood Knights wear, is ancient Blood Knight armor. It was retrieved from the deep roads by myself, and it is the same armor that was used during the Second Spider Squid War 200,000 years ago. And it has been passed to the current Blood Knights, magically altered so it fits their bodies, but it is the same armor. And so it will glow. Yes, you're correct. If you have use detect magic or true sight, or there's a number of other ones, that is going to glow in your vision. You're right about that. Okay. Any other questions about the Blood Knights? Okay. Okay. So the answer to that, Jalil Blackbart, is you don't worry about it. Okay? You know they're on your side, so you can role play with them just like they are anybody else. Okay? The only time you really need to worry about that is if you're playing a villain. Okay? If you are an Illithid, okay, the abilities of the Blood Knights actually really matter to you. Okay? Well, there's a difference between a hero and a villain. Whether or not it doesn't matter if you're a devil, a demon, or an angel. If you are fighting to preserve the plane of law, which gives you the ability to have a physical body, gives you the ability to have gravity, inertia, thought, all those things. If any of that stuff matters, then you are on the hero side. Okay? Whether you're doing it just because I loved Errol's answer. Okay, what's your last name? Because I'm going to have to use it. I apologize. Zell. Okay. Jalil Ziel. I like it. Good one. Whether or not I liked Jalil Ziel's answer. I like this plane because it's where I keep all my stuff. That still makes you a hero, whether or not your reason is this is where I keep my stuff, or you know, whatever your reasons are, if you are defending this plane from annihilation, you're on the hero side. Okay. Exactly. Thank you for bringing that up, Jalil Devaltar. A lot of people have abilities that you don't know. All right. And they don't really matter unless you're up against them, does it? It just makes it more interesting. Okay. Because they shouldn't be abusing those abilities. And I trust them not to. It is a key element, you know? All right. OOCly. I trust them not to abuse their abilities. Ed Star is the leader of my dragoons. Okay. Well, she is the dragoon, the leader of the Blood Knights. Yes, that is correct. See, Zilla de Valtar said that. If they abuse their abilities, they lose it. Because where do the Blood Knights get their power from? Me. Okay. Just like any priest gets their power from their god, the Blood Knights get their power from me, from the magician. And as long as they are killing people and doing the right things, they keep their power. Okay? That's how it is. Does that make sense? All right. It's, you know, and exactly. All right. Jalil Blackbart, I do suggest that you talk to Jalil Devaltor, and she will explain it. I know that you understand Doc Alfar well enough that she can help you understand the Blood Knights. Okay. Now, they shouldn't be disrespecting others just because they think that they're super awesome. They know I choose the people I choose. I try to be smart about it. Okay. As far as who, okay, that actually, thank you for doing that. Thank you for actually leading up to it. The Blood Knights are Blood Knights because they are chosen personally by myself. Okay? And they are chosen because they have shown that they can handle what has been given to them without without being asshats about it, shall we say. All right? Yes. Exactly, power crazy. I'm not cool with power crazy. Same with my conclave. All right? My conclave are trusted, hand-picked individuals because I know that they're not going to take the power I gave them and use it to crush everybody else into wine. All right? There's enough wine already. I got grapes, and then, if you want wine, hey, that's cool. I got cheese and crackers in the other room. You can come over. You know where I sit. You know where my desk is, right? Cheese and crackers right there. All right. Any other questions about the Blood Knights? That is why certain masters vanish. That is why people, yes, that is exactly why. You know, if an abuse of power occurs, they disappear. Yes, there is a difference between playing a character and abusing your power. You know, so keep that in mind. Yeah. If you're referring to uh, Jalil Leomister, real life happened to her. Yes. All right. Any other questions about the Blood Knights? Does everyone understand what what the Blood Knights are, who they are, and what they do? You know, yes, they are a secret force, but they're a well-known secret force. All right. Oh, Seeley, I have no problems with the fact that you know who the Blood Knights are. Seeley, they only the Dragoon and the lieutenants are known, but if people revealed Seeley, I don't care. Seeley, they are unknown except for yes. Okay, thank you, Jalil Ninetails, for bringing that up. All Blood Knights are Driders, but not all Driders are Blood Knights. There are Driders out there that are not Blood Knights. Okay. Jalil Ninetails, there is someone, the Dragoon wants to talk to you very, very badly about a role play involving Driders. Yes, that is correct. Lark is a Lark is a Blood Knight. Daoth is not. Daoth is a Drider. Yeah, a lot of females in real life are afraid of spiders, and so they don't use their Drider form because they either fear or disgust or hatred. You know. All right, let's go in that. That actually leads up to spiders, and we're going to go into spiders next. Okay. So spiders, and if as stated, if you have questions about the Blood Knights or wolves, you can continue those. All right, but let's go to spiders. Spiders, as most of you know, are the sacred animal to Loth or Loth, depending on who you refer to, and how you want to pronounce her name. Okay, and several other Doc Alfar deifications. Also, the spider is grandmother spider. Okay, aside from the ones that you know of, grandmother spider is the weaver, the creator of magic. She who brought words to the world. Okay, and that is equally maybe even more, significant than the fact that the spider is sacred to several Dak-Alfar entities. The spider is the weaver, she who brought words, she who brought rationality to this plane of existence. Okay? Okay. Actually, we are going to continue to talk about spiders because it's an important thing. But I wanted to bring up something else. If keep this in mind, is that the personality of an individual, okay, the role play of an individual does not necessarily directly relate to their role. All right. Like a minute ago, Magister Apprentice Avail was just talking about the fact that he doesn't use titles like myself. I always use last names and titles, or Jalil, Jaluk. Okay. You really won't hear Jail or Jayuk coming from me because that means girl and boy. But Jalil and Jaluk mean lady and lord, and you will always hear that from me. I know that's drought pronunciation, another class. But anyway, some people do not share my respect for my fellow man. And that does include women. Okay. So just because someone does not use respectful tones does not mean, or that you consider respectful, does not mean that they are abusing their rank. Okay? Do keep in mind that that could be the way they are. It may not necessarily have to do anything to do with what rank they hold. Myself, I hold a decent amount of rank here in the GA. All right? But that does not alter the level of respect that I give for everyone around me. Okay? And I don't expect that from everyone. Now, I do expect it when you address me because I do that when I address you. But I don't expect it from everyone to do with everyone else. So if you have a Blood Knight that you know is a Blood Knight, let's say Jalil de Voltor over there, and she's acting the way she acts, then that's the way she acts. She's not acting that way for another reason. She's acting that way because that's who she is. Okay? I speak in the way I speak. I am a mix of in and out. And everyone who comes to my events knows that. Okay? Is that I am both. Because even in real life, okay, like Jill Paderborn knows me in real life. Ask her. More than welcome. Do I act the same way in real life as I do out here when we're in here? Jill Paderborn, can you say yes or no for these people? There we go. Thank you. All right. So the answer is whether I speak in role play or not, it's just this is the way I am. Okay. You know, I don't know. Am I accused about something? Hmm. A lot of things. Anyway, okay. Um, Truth. Okay, so it's back. So let me get back to spiders. Okay. Now, so okay, so they're, as I said, they're a sacred animal to Loth or Loth, depending on your pronunciation. Several other deities, but most interestingly and most significantly is that the spider is sacred animal to grandmother spider. Grandmother spider is older than the old gods. Okay, you're talking an entity that been around since Cthulhu. Okay, and grandfather Wolf is her consort. Okay, so these are beings that are older than the Titans. Okay, they are primordial. Actually, spiders have paws. If you if you hold a spider underneath a microscope and look at the ends of their feet, they have little paws like cats. Okay? Or dogs. More like dogs, I guess. Yes, they do have paws, dude. They're very, very cute, except for the 8 eyes. All right? And that's why none of my spiders have 8 eyes. I have a drider on my desk. Okay? And she's awesome. And she only has 2 eyes. Okay? I made her myself. Someday I'll publish the picture and draw and show it, bring it in. Okay? All right. So, all right. Which brings up two other points here. Will a spider attack a drider? And by that logic, will a spider attack a blood knight? The answer is no. They will not. All right. They recognize the kin. They recognize the blood kin. Spiders will, in general, not attack Doc Alfar. Haha, you just asked the same question. Spiders, in general, will not attack Doc Alfar. Okay? They realize that there is a blood kin in that. Okay? Now, spiders will attack each other, but only if they have to. They won't go out of their way to do so. All right. Okay. Does all of that make sense so far? That's right. All information. Yeah, that's right. The lion's head, everything that is icy, that's OOC becomes icy. All right. Any other questions about spiders? Okay. I'm sorry, I must have missed one. Okay. Yes, if a person has control over spiders, they will still do what the controller said. Okay. In general. Okay. They will attack Dak Alfar if they are controlled to do so. But they won't by nature. If they're directed to do so, yes, they will. Okay. If someone has control animal and they use it on a spider and they send that after a Dak Alfar, then they will. Okay. They'll attack anyone. You know, control animal means they will do just that. Okay. Simple enough. Oh, um, I wanted to mention while I'm on the subject of spiders, iron spiders. There are not that many of them out there, but do remember that iron spider silk is as tough as or tougher than steel. It weighs the same as silk, very light cloth, but it's harder than steel. It's like wearing it's like wearing a nightgown that gives you same protection as plate armor. Yes. Question. No. I mean, if you kill a spider, you kill a spider. That's fine. As long as it wasn't somebody's pet. If it was somebody's pet or their companion, yes, you're probably going to heal. You're probably going to feel it. You know. Is it possible that you could have an iron spider? Possible. We can talk about that later. Swing by my desk and we'll see if I can't you and your husband come by and talk to me and there are very few iron spiders. But since you work with spiders, I happen to have iron spiders. So I might be able to send one over to you guys. And yes, Jalil de Valtar, that is correct. Now, if you do that in the presence of a cleric of uh, of several deities, then they're going to see it as disrespectful. Just like if you or if you kill a wolf, a real wolf, if you kill a wolf with a lowercase w in the presence of a Lycan or an Anthromai, they're not going to be happy with you. All right, they're going to want to stomp on your head. So it's no different. All right, whether it's a spider, an elephant, a wolf, or a monkey. If someone considers that animal sacred and you do it in front of them, then they're going to be less than pleased with you. All right? All right. Gnomes are best as footballs, but what was your question about gnomes? Yes, but they do make good stuff. They're footballs with glasses. Yes. Heretofore, you have a warder as of a Black Widow, Jalil de Valtar. Henceforth, as of this moment. Uh, no, iron spider is not made out of metal. It's not clockwork. That's a different thing. You're thinking a clockwork spider. An iron spider is a spider that is a magical spider that releases silk that is as tough as iron. I have 1,200 different spiders, give or take, because I like spiders and wolves, you know. And yes, Jello Black Bark, that is correct. Yes. You just wait until you see a wolf spider. There is a reason that they're named that. But anyway. Who has which types of spiders? You mean what deity has which types of spiders? Is that your question? The most dangerous spider in the game is the iron spider. Okay? But it's also the most beneficial. In real life, the most dangerous spider is the brown recluse. Yes. It causes rot. Now, there are giant brown recluses in our game. And trust me, they're no fun. Oh, Black Widow is not, you might actually live through a Black Widow bite. It attacks your nervous system. You could possibly live. But the brown recluse causes rot. All right? Whatever it bites rots. It gets gangrene and literally rots off. It kills the flesh. Yes, yes, yes. There are a variety of spiders that have yellow on them. You're referring to it's a black, yeah. If you were talking about the black spider that has basically a yellow pattern on his back, on her back, because most of the males, not necessarily the case. A yellow pattern with kind of banana shaped with dots on it. That's often referred to as the banana spider. Okay, yes, we can. Yeah, I love the orb weaver. We don't have to talk consistently more about spiders, but I did want to touch the subject. Okay, because spiders have a spiders do have a particular import. I have a picture I will send you sometime, Jello Blackbart, of said spider. That anyway. Okay. That I saw in real life. Okay, so moving on. Driders. So all of the things that you know about spiders are shared by driders. They typically, in our game, they can jump 200 meters. They have webs. They can, yes, they are. They can capture with webs, or they can use them for transport. Okay, pull along like Spider-Man, except for much bigger. And they do have, driders do have a poison. Now they don't have to bite you for their poison. All right, it is thrown. Okay, from their hands. They don't have to bite you for it. Yes, that works fine. Perfectly logical. And of course, they can use any weapon, whatever weapon is fits their class. Yes, they are quite toxic. They are particularly, one of the nice things about drider poisons is it's acidic against metal. Okay. I will be back tomorrow, and I will more than likely we'll be talking about mostly different things, but we'll see. You know, some things are going to remain, but no. Actually, if you're in metal, you are more danger from a drider than if you're not, because the poisons that they throw is particularly dissolvent on metals. Does anyone know the difference between bases and acids? All right. Okay, good. Then you know that the defense for those are glass and platinum are the two things that can actually deflect such a thing. Not metal. Okay. A base goes for organics. Acids go for inorganics. And the poison that a drider projects is an acid, because that is one of the reasons they're so very effective versus metallici. Okay? Because metallici are metal. Right? I will be closing this very soon, so Belados for your attendance, and in just a moment I'll be closing anyway, and I'll be back tomorrow and we'll be discussing more. But I wanted to throw some of those things out there so that people got a general idea. Yes. Metallica? Yes. Metallica would love Metallica. Most certainly. I do, so why wouldn't they, right? All right. Any questions? Okay. I am now, as I said, I will be back tomorrow, and this will be the first ever that I did a 2-part class. But I didn't think I was going to make it back today in time, so I went ahead and said, all right, let's move it tomorrow. But since I did make it, then I decided to go ahead and have it, because I know that some people move their schedules around to get here today, and I wanted to respect that for people. Yes, little Black Bart, go ahead. Farl Dur Stillo. I think you already know the answer to that question. I won't answer. I will instead say, I think you already know the answer to that question. How about that? Any other questions? All right. Balados for your attendance. Vindaus for now.